So about a year and a half ago, I had done a video on identifying the female covert narcissist, which I will leave right here. And someone in the comment section had asked for me to do a video on being married or being in a relationship with a covert narcissist. So that is what today's video is about what it is like being in a relationship with a covert narcissist. But before we get into today's video, my name is Missy and I am a life and relationship coach, and on this channel we get to the root of the issue and we learn how to heal and deal. So if that's your thing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I would love for you to be a part of the fam, and if you already are subscribed, I really appreciate you so much. Also, if you're interested in my coaching services, I will leave the link down below, which you can check out. Now let's get into today's video. So usually narcissism is explained as someone that is always seeking attention, is selfish, lacks empathy, brags about themselves, egotistical, very charming. And then when they're triggered, they can become big bullies. So if you have a partner that has one or two of these traits, and it's very behind closed doors and they don't act like that in public, it can be very confusing. They don't entirely fit the description of what a narcissist is, but you know something's off. And that's because generally when you look up narcissism, they focus on the traditional grandiose narcissism. And this is where they're more overt and more outspoken. An overt narcissist has no problem being a Karen in public. So then you see this and you say, oh, this isn't my partner. So then you'll think, oh, maybe it's you, or maybe they have a mood disorder, or they're going through something, or maybe you did something to cause for this to come out, because in the beginning they weren't like this. They were all loving and great. So maybe something happened to trigger this. But in actuality, they do have similar traits to a grandiose narcissist, like the entitlement, like the grandiose sense of self, like the arrogance, and like the validation seeking, but it comes out in much sneakier ways. Their tactics are manipulation by playing victim, sneaky control, and neediness. This is because they're covert narcissists, which means everything is behind the scenes. It's not outright like overts. So everything they do is very sneaky. So for instance, they're very critical. So their criticism won't be outright, it will be like a hidden dig. So let's say for instance, someone opened a business and they thought that was a bad idea, or they think it was stupid. Then instead of outright insulting them, they may say, oh wow, that was a big risk. I wouldn't do that if I had your credit score. Or they criticize you by what you eat, like saying like, oh, that's a lot of food. Are you sure you want all of that food? It will go right to your hips. They criticize people that take risks, do things that don't align with their values, do things that they won't do, or people that do something that will make themselves better, or for people that do things that they won't do themselves because they have shame or insecurity. So like people that take risks, or people that are naturally happy or empathetic, or just have things that they don't. And so then with the criticizing, they're also big gossipers. So they'll gossip about everyone and everyone's lives, and they may really be very invested in celebrity gossip, or their friends gossip. They like to talk about others. They just really love drama and others' drama. Another thing is jealousy, because they have so much insecurity, they won't give credit to other people. They make it seem like they got it handed to them, or maybe they had a better life and that's why it happened for them. They didn't do anything to cause it, it happened for them. And it doesn't happen to them because they're a victim. So they will become very jealous of other success, and they may use other people's blueprint of what they want. Another thing is they criticize, but they don't do well with criticism. And this is because they are hypersensitive. So any small criticism, even if it's helpful, they act like it's an attack on them, because they always play that victim role, and they act like everyone is out to get them. And they also are never satisfied. No matter what you do, they still won't be happy about it. They're going to criticize, it's going to come out in anger, they're going to be contemptuous, they're going to complain, which they complain a lot, and they're going to be dismissive towards you, especially if you don't give them what they want. So a lot of their tactics revolve around playing victim and manipulating others to view things a certain way, and to manipulate them to behave the way that they want, especially through negative reinforcement. So because of all this manipulation and the sneakiness and them acting like a victim, it can be very confusing if you're in a relationship with them, because they do a lot of this behind closed doors. In public, they have a really nice persona. They may be even the person that everybody likes. They will come across as nice, shy. They're not attention seeking like a grandiose narcissist. They're people pleasers, they're givers. And there are introverted covert narcissists where they're less social and they're seen as innocent, but still pretty likable as they're not very problematic in public. In reality, they are the biggest wolves in sheep's clothing. They are the best manipulators, and if you're not aware of their manipulation, you can be tricked. So what is it like being in a relationship with a covert narcissist? One huge thing is they will sabotage you. So they will complain about something, and when you go to fix it, they will make it very difficult for you to try to do something about it. So for instance, let's say they hate the financial spot that you're in. If you try to go get a better job, or if you maybe get another job, they will still complain that maybe you're not around enough, or the job isn't good enough, it's not going to do anything. Or if they have a certain image of the job that they want you to have, then they will also complain that you need to get this certain job. So they will sabotage your ability to do better. Like if you set goals, they will make it difficult for you to reach them. Maybe you want to lose weight, they will still try to enforce chocolate. They don't want you to look better than them, or they don't want you to achieve the goal that you're trying to achieve. They're never really satisfied with anything you do. They will always find a way where they can complain about it and sabotage. So then it affects your mental health, and then you feel like you can't really achieve any of your goals, or you feel like they're an anchor pulling you down from being able to achieve your goals. You also will notice that you feel like you can't tell them anything. Like if you need their support, you won't really get it. You can't ever really get their empathy. You may even get to a point where you feel like you have to hide things from them, because if you do go and tell them something, they'll use it against you, or they'll make you feel terrible about it. If you come to them with something that had happened to you or something negative, they'll wind up making you feel worse, or they'll make it about them, and you'll feel worse than you did before coming to them. So you may hide your feelings, you may hide when bad things happen, you'll hide anything that they can use as a weapon against you or to make you feel bad. The next huge one is they victimize themselves. So no matter what, nothing is their fault. Somehow everyone's out to get them. It's the other person's fault why this thing is happening. They are helpless. So because of this helplessness, they are very needy and they need you to fix things. They come to you for you to fix the problem. They want you to make the phone call. They want you to do everything because they're a helpless victim. They don't know what they're doing. They're a damsel in distress. They are a resource taker. So they take, but they never really give. They will want to use you for your money because money is very important to them. Money means status, and they want to have a certain status, and they want to have the best of everything. They will use you for your lifestyle, for your problem solving. They may come to you and they have problems and expect you to solve it. They will use you for your empathy and your sympathy. Anything that you have or you have to offer, they will want to take it or use it. Now, if you don't help them, if you don't enable them, they will guilt trip you and they will make you feel very bad. And again, it goes back to that victimizing themselves. They victimize like, oh, no one ever helps me. Like, I'm always alone. I knew you would say that. It's always happening to me. Or you'll hear, sorry, I wasn't a good enough partner. Maybe you'll find better. You'll also hear, I really don't want to do this, but you're making me be like this. You're making me do this to you. If you wouldn't act like this, then I wouldn't have to respond like this. Taking absolutely no accountability for themselves. They never take ownership and try to fix their own problems. They expect you to do it. This also spills over into their conversations with others where they're a victim or they will victimize you too. So like, let's say for instance, they're talking to their friend and you had been in an accident. They will talk about how bad the accident was and that you were severely hurt. It's so traumatizing on you and her, when in reality it was a very small accident. It was not a big deal, but they like to play that victim role. They like to get the sympathy. And when you overhear these conversations, you'll hear things that you never usually hear. Like, they'll show empathy and sympathy for you, and it can be confusing because behind closed doors they don't show that sympathy and that empathy, but really they're just doing it to play the victim card. So the next thing is that they're not interested in what you have to say or resolving problems. So when you go and have a conversation with them, you may notice that the conversation will turn into what they want to talk about, or it will turn into them having more information about the topic than you. They don't really care about your opinions. They don't really want your feedback on things. They more so would rather talk about what they want, and they also want to enforce their opinion on you, and they want you to think like them. So you may notice they'll monopolize the conversation rather than being open-minded and wanting to hear the things that you have to say. They'll monopolize the conversation to go in the direction that they wanted to go in, and to point out how they're right, or to point out how you're wrong. Now, if you go against what they're saying, then they will play the victim card. So they'll shift the conversation from the topic to something that you're doing wrong. So maybe you're raising your voice a little bit. Maybe they'll make it seem like you're attacking them, or the way that you're talking to them is wrong. Or maybe they'll focus on a certain word you said. Maybe you said stupid, and they're focusing that fact that you said that. They focus on the semantics rather than the actual conversation. So anytime you try to resolve a problem, or you're about to get to a point where you think you're coming with some sort of resolution, maybe they're sitting there and they're listening, they're showing they're listening. They're what I call fake self-reflecting, where like they'll acknowledge something you're saying by saying like, yeah, I do that. Where basically it seems like they're reflecting, but it's all for image purposes. So they'll say like, yeah, that is who I am, or you're right, and maybe I should stop yelling so much, or something like that. But it's all a facade, because they know what looks wrong, but they don't want to actually change it because they feel like they're justified in their actions. If they're doing that and you feel like, okay, now we identified the problem, what's the solution? You start to get to a solution, they may immediately devalue you, turn it around, they'll dismiss the conversation, they'll want to back out. They don't want to come up with a solution, they don't want to resolve the problem. They just want to point out that you're the problem and you're attacking them. And the only solution is apparently you have to change. You have to be easier to manipulate. That's their solution. The next thing is that they never give you credit for your accomplishments. So anytime you achieve something, it was because they told you to do it, or because they were supportive, they led you in that direction. It was always because of them. Or it could be on the opposite spectrum, where when you do accomplish something, they try to put you down to make sure that you don't feel good about it. So they will try to make it seem like luck was on your side. It was handed to you. There's an outside reason for why you accomplished this thing. They never make it seem like you did something to accomplish this thing. It was always either because of them or because of an outside source. Another thing that you may experience is that they may be codependent or altruistic. So what that means is basically they feel validated and good by taking care of you or taking care of someone, and they seem like they're very loving people and they like to take care of others. This is where they trick you. Really what it is when they're taking care of someone else, they feel superior to others. They feel good. That's their version of positive supply. They're not doing it because they actually care about you. If you notice, they're not actually giving you what you need. They give you what they think you need. It's a very selfish thing that they're doing. It has nothing to do with you or how you feel. And if you don't take their help, or you ask someone else for help, they'll guilt you, they'll shame you, and they'll make you feel bad for not taking their help. So this can cause you to feel like you need to depend on them and you need them. They take away your independence and make you feel dependent on them. So this causes you to not trust yourself, and this causes you to lose your sense of self and feel like you've become one with this person. And it completely warps how you see this person because they do all these nice things. And when they are this nice person, it makes you forget all of the negative things that they have done. And it confuses you because, as you've seen, narcissists, they're not usually like this. But when it comes to covert narcissists, it's very common for them to be codependent or more altruistic because they get an ego boost by taking care of others or having others depend on them. The next one is the biggest one, which is that they are so extremely manipulative. It is so sneaky how manipulative they are. So everything they do, they make it seem like it is in your best interest, but really there's always a hidden agenda. And the hidden agenda could be for image purposes, it could be for ego boost, it could be so they have one up on you and so you owe them. whatever it is, they only are looking out for themselves. And so the only way they know how to have relationships with people is by manipulating them. They like hiding behind this image that they're this nice person, or hiding behind that they're always this victim. So they will do a lot of gaslighting, where they will try to make you question your own reality. They will be incredibly passive aggressive. So they'll do secret hidden digs. They will give you silent treatment. They will hide things and then make it seem like they have no idea what happened to it. They will lie to you. They will say statements and make it seem like they care about you, when in reality, they're just trying to manipulate you to do what they want. Another thing is that they will use sex as a weapon. So narcissists, they don't genuinely connect with others. Because they don't have a sense of self, they can't connect on an intimate level. So when they have sex, yeah, it feels good, there's pleasure, but they're not doing it to connect maybe the same way that you would. So it's easy for them to give it and to take it away. It's a tool rather than a source of connection, like it would be for someone who's more healthy-minded. And so they'll especially use sex as a weapon and a tool to love bomb. If you have a covert narcissist that you notice that anytime they want something from you, or anytime they are happy that you behaved a certain way and they'll have sex with you, that shows that it's love bombing. That's their go-to manipulation tactic for you. And then when they're unsatisfied with you, or they're unhappy, or they're mad at you, they'll take sex away. And they want you to beg for it. They like having that power of knowing that you want it and they're not giving it to you. They like that control. But when you do have sex with them, it may not be that pleasurable, especially if you're someone where sex only feels good when you emotionally connect. I think that's called demisexual. But so the sex will feel extremely empty, and it will also be very selfish on their end. So you will do a lot of things to please them and give them pleasure, but it will be either non-existent, or they'll only please you for a little bit, and then they'll go back to wanting what they want, doing the sex position they want. Wanting a sexual favor but not giving it in return. Now in the beginning, the sex may have been really good, the best you've ever had, and then over time it got like really vanilla or it got awful, and that's because they use that as a way to reel you in, because they know it's a way to connect with others, especially if you show that sex is very important. That may be the only time when they show you any type of affection or care, even if it's something so small, that you will crave it so badly, and they know that. And so they will dangle it in order to control you and manipulate you. And also when it comes to sex, usually there is affection. Affection can be really difficult for them because, like I said, they're not a genuine person. They don't have a sense of self. They don't really care about that affection. They can be very cold. Hugs are very scarce. Words of affirmation obviously don't exist. Or if they do, they're only a way to reel you in. There's never real intimate moments where you're able to really connect on a deeper level. Speaking of sex, what happens when you have sex with a narcissist? Sometimes kids come out of it. So if you have kids with a narcissist, what they'll do is they will use them as a weapon, and they will use them as pawns in their sick game. So narcissists always have a target. They always have one person that they use as their supply, or the biggest form of their supply. And so if you are the target, then they will manipulate the kids and turn them against you. And this is where parent alienation comes into play. They'll try to alienate you and try to paint you as this picture to them that you're this bad person, and they will try to get the kids to disrespect you and to create distance between you. So it's hard to have a relationship with your child. So they will try to manipulate the kids to be against you. Or on another hand, if their child is more rebellious or is an inquisitive kid, then they will try to get you on their side of going against the child. And they may try to create a wedge between you and that child, so that way again you guys don't team up and you really figure out what's going on. This mainly happens if like you are the codependent partner and you're very unaware of your narcissistic partner's traits and you go along with everything they say. So if you're aware of your partner's traits and you don't go along with everything they say, then they will use all the kids to go against you. Not only that, but your covert partner is trying to make sure that you guys all turn against each other, so that way there's no chance of you guys teaming up and going against the narcissist. She's in each of your guys' ear, telling each other different things, saying negative things about you to each other, saying negative things about you to your kids, saying negative things about your kids to you, and creating this unhealthy dynamic. So that way you guys don't have a true bond. The covert also in the household wants to be the center of attention and wants to make sure that no one goes above them. So in order to do that, they make sure to keep you all in line. So you may notice with one of your children or multiple of your children, multiple children with this person, they may have this certain narrative of who you are that's not you at all, and you may have a close relationship with other of your children. The golden children, the one they pick to be the most like them, you will not be able to have a healthy relationship with them. Also, when it comes to having kids with this person, you may be on the same page about setting rules, and then what they'll do is they will then make you look bad in front of the kids, make you look like the bad guy and like they're the one that's trying to save them, so that way you always look bad. And then again, it paints a picture that you're the manipulative bad parent, especially if they continuously keep triggering you and you react. It will also play into that narrative that you're the bad parent. So basically they use your kids as weapons against you and as a source of supply. They're little people they can mold into who they want, and when they realize that their children have minds of their own, then they will start the devalue process and they will make sure that you guys don't have any type of relationship. And then the last thing is that the covert partner wants perfectionism. So the covert, I feel like they care about their image way more than a grandiose narcissist, and they have a certain image of how they want to come across, and they have a certain image of who they want their partner to be, who they want their kids to be, how they want their house to be, what they want it to look like, how they want their lifestyle to be, and they won't accept anything less. So this can give you these feelings of never being good enough. And pretty much they're saying, I'm perfect and you're an extension of me and don't make me look bad. So because of this mindset, they think they're entitled to you and you giving them what they want. They think they're entitled to the perfect life they had dreamed of. And they will make you feel like you owe them because of things that they do for you, or because they're a victim and they've had a rough life, or they've had bad things that have happened to them, so they deserve these good things. Or because of the trauma that they've been through, or they see other people, they're able to get those things and they should also have those things too, it's not fair. Or they'll try to paint this narrative that you tricked them, you made them believe that you were this certain person, that you would give them those things, and so now you owe them this type of life. But this perfectionism is unrealistic. You can't be this certain man or woman that they expect you to be because it doesn't exist. Or you can't give them the certain life because it doesn't exist, because their perfectionism is completely unrealistic. They expect no mistakes at all, and if you ever do make mistakes, then they will shame you and they will guilt you and they will make you feel bad. Now in public, they will either act like they have the perfect life, financially well off, the family is close, going on vacations, you guys have a perfect dynamic. And that mainly happens if you're doing everything that they want, or if you're not doing everything that they want, then they will complain about you to other people. So they'll say how bad you treat them, or that you're not the ideal partner. They'll complain about the things that you do, and they do this to gather flying monkeys, to go against you, so that way they'll be on their side and they can further gaslight you, back you into a corner, and to get you to try to change, or try to get you to do what they want. The more people they have on their side, the more powerful they feel. They're like, see, everyone agrees with me, you're the problem, you have to change. It's a huge bullying tactic. Now, living like this can be very isolating, as you may not realize what is going on, and if you told people, no one would believe you, since they do have this persona that they're such a likable person. And so you'll notice you may not have a lot of friends. The friends that you used to have, maybe you've been isolated from them, you've been made to feel like you had to push them away. And also your life revolves around your partner and catering to them and giving your partner everything that they want. And if you don't, you usually deal with some sort of punishment. Being in a relationship with a covert narcissist, like with any narcissist, it's very confusing. It's a big roller coaster. But I feel like when you're in a relationship with a covert narcissist, it's a lot more manipulative than any other relationship, because they make it seem like they're able to be this good person, or they're able to be this good partner. They have moments where they may give you a glimpse of hope that they will change or things can get better, and then they take it away. Especially if you reveal things where you tell them things that are bothering you, they may pretend like they're working on it, but really they're just using it as another way to manipulate you and to have sneakier ways to manipulate you. So it can be very confusing to be in a relationship with this person, as there are a lot of highs and lows, but in between the highs and lows they can seem kind of normal sometimes. So it's a very tricky situation. A lot of people often stay with covert narcissists because it's so hidden and sneaky. So if you're in a relationship with a covert, just understand they'll never change. As long as you're in a relationship with them, it will be like this forever. They may give you a glimpse of hope, or they'll give you this impression that they're changing or they're going to change, but it's all for image purposes. It's not genuine, and it's not consistent either. So you have two choices. You have to understand, if you stay with a covert, then your life will be very empty, very lonely. It will be filled with abuse and gaslighting, and so it will revolve around you just always protecting yourself or defending yourself. Or the second choice is you can leave, heal, find support, and give yourself a better life that's not filled with abuse or manipulation. And yeah, there will be difficulties. It's not like it's easy. It's not like, oh yeah, I can just get up and leave. No, that's not everyone's ideal situation. You will have to break the trauma bond. You will have to financially secure yourself, because a lot of people, when they get in these marriages or these relationships, sometimes they become financially dependent on this person. And so you will wind up having to split finances. Also, it's hard with the kids. Like, if people feel very uncomfortable leaving the kids, and they'll also be split custody. There are going to be difficulties, but you won't be in constant abuse. You will be in a better state of mind to be able to deal with them. Rather than dealing with abuse 24/7, you will be able to deal with the abuse in little bits, and you'll be able to handle it better because, one, you'll have the tools. Two, you can get away from it any time. And three, you'll be able to be, like, if you're a parent, you're able to be a better parent, you're able to be a better friend, you're able to be a better person when this person isn't involved in your life. So those are really the only two choices when dealing with a covert, and it's not easy. They're both not easy, but it is about choices when you're in a relationship. So what do you guys think? Leave it all in the comments below, and please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share with someone that you think may need it. Until next time, thanks for watching. Bye guys. For me to do a video on identifying this girl. So a year and a half ago, children, am I right? Are you happy now? Stop yelling at me. You're not interested in hearing what you have to say or resolving problems.